I really want you guys to watch this video.
You don't go into a black neighborhood without seeing Asian businesses or restaurants or liquor store owners, and vice versa. You don't go into Asian neighborhoods without seeing black customers and black clients that keep our businesses alive. And
you don't go into the black community without seeing Asian businesses and restaurant and liquor store owners. But you don't go into the Asian community without seeing black customers and clients.
An Asian content creator got on this here internet wearing what can only be described as a Black American starter kit and decided to tell black people that our money doesn't matter. Okay. According to him, black people need Asian-owned businesses more than Asian-owned businesses need black people. A boycott wouldn't move anything. The loss wouldn't register. Our dollars don't count. Now, this might just be me, but if I genuinely believed that somebody's money didn't matter, I don't think I'd spend my afternoon making a video about it.
I saw this thing online of how the black people are not going to these salons or this. They are seriously boycotting these Asian people. We are not funding them anymore. It's empty. Look at this. I thought it was a joke. Ain't nobody in there. Wow. Look at this. They are not playing. Talking all of that shit about the and the niggas ain't going in there to buy you nothing. Wow, I thought it was a joke, but they are not playing with these Asian people. Ain't nobody in there saying they don't need the black dollar.
I know emotions are high, and if this is how you think there's going to be some justice, okay, I'm okay with it. But then when does it end? When is it, okay, we've boycotted Asian businesses enough, justice is served, now let's move on. I just personally don't think this is the solution. If anything, it produces more tension, creating some unnecessary race war.
Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. In case you're new here, my name is Maren.
And I'm Maureen.
Right. So Asian Americans dared Black Americans to boycott their businesses, right? And Black Americans, true to their nature, heed to the call. They decided to boycott Asian businesses. And in today's episode, we're going to be looking at how the Asian community is faring on.
Right. So have there been any adverse effects after the boycott, or is life still continuing as normal for all of the Asians living in America?
Another question, did Black Americans successfully boycott Asian communities, and are they still boycotting Asian communities? Did this have any kind of impact, or is it back to business as usual? Have some of them forgotten and gone back to supporting Asian businesses? What is happening? Let's watch what we prepared for, and then we come back and talk about it. You can let us know your thoughts and opinion in the comment section. Also consider subscribing if it's your first time here. Let's watch and then we come back and talk about it.
I'm pretty sure there's a lot of Asian business owners that are like, what happened? Where's all my black customers? They're just trying to make a living. They're just trying to make money. Now, what's the answer? I don't know. If you have any productive recommendations, please comment below.
An Asian content creator got on this here internet wearing what can only be described as a Black American starter kit and decided to tell black people that our money doesn't matter. Okay. According to him, black people need Asian-owned businesses more than Asian-owned businesses need black people. A boycott wouldn't move anything. The loss wouldn't register. Our dollars don't count. Now, this might just be me, but if I genuinely believed that somebody's money didn't matter, I don't think I'd spend my afternoon making a video about it. So naturally, I went looking at the history, because this conversation isn't really about just one video, right? The very second that black people start talking economics, where our money goes, who profits from it, who builds wealth off our communities, people get uncomfortable. That same discomfort doesn't appear when other groups do the same thing. Every immigrant community that's come to this country has done it. Jewish, Chinese, Korean, Italian, Indian, Armenian, pooling resources, building businesses, keeping their money inside their communities for as long as possible. Nobody finds that controversial though. But what they fail to recognize is that we understood the same thing. We had to. After slavery, black communities built banks, hospitals, insurance companies, schools, newspapers, Whole business districts. The Greenwood neighborhood in Tulsa, Oklahoma had 191 businesses. It had 2 schools, a hospital, and a library, all by 1921. They called it Black Wall Street. But on May 31st, 1921, a white mob attacked it. 2 days of looting, burning, and shooting. But it's us, right? We're the problem.
We have gone from people placing huge orders at Chinese restaurants and not picking them up to vandalizing businesses, and now this. Yeah, I mean, this guy sucks. I don't really know what else to say. I feel like I'm gonna repeat myself here, but we are not all the same, and I think that's important to say again because things seem to be devolving. Yes, there's a lot of anti-blackness within our community, and it is hard to fight that because we, Asians collectively, cannot even come together as a group. So now would be a good time because I got a lot of comments about this in my last video in this space about, oh, well, what black businesses do you support? Now would be a good time to clarify that we do support you guys. The biggest example would be during BLM with Breonna Taylor and George Floyd. A lot of us did come out in support of you guys. We marched with you. We, including myself, donated to organizations like the ACLU. My point is, especially with all the discourse right now, maybe you guys don't know that there are a lot of us in support of the black community. Maybe more than you think. Social media tends to be so polarizing and the negative news always rises to the top. Also, just because I did not make a video about the Rick Chow verdict does not mean that I am anti-black. There was a lot to digest there. If the charge was Rick Chow stereotypes black people and that's why he chased after Cyrus, everything would be a lot simpler, but that's not how it was. There was a lot to think about, and I, like a human being, took my time to try and really understand everything that was going on, all the details that were there, that weren't there.
I really want you guys to watch this video.
You don't go into a black neighborhood without seeing Asian businesses or restaurants or liquor store owners, and vice versa. You don't go into Asian neighborhoods without seeing black customers and black clients that keep our businesses alive. And
You don't go into the black community without seeing Asian businesses and restaurant and liquor store owners. But you don't go into the Asian community without seeing black customers and clients. Do you see the problem there? In just 15 seconds, not only did she show the problem between the black and Asian community, but she shows the problem of the black community and our continuous allowance of us to let other people come in and economically exploit us, and for other people to see and benefit from our economic viability. Everyone but us benefits. Not only is economic exploitation horrible enough, it gets worse than that. They come into our communities and they're very anti-black, and they treat our people disrespectfully, and oftentimes it has led to them taking black lives. This happened in 1991. This happened in 2023. This is a 30-year period and the exact same things are happening. Something is immensely wrong as to why we have still allowed this to continue. The fact that we know how horribly we are treated by these business owners and their communities in our own community, and yet we have still somehow allowed them to be economically benefiting from us, is insanity. And the craziest part of it all is that none of these communities, whether it's Asian, Arabic, or even Palestinian, yes, are bringing in businesses that can benefit us, or that are necessary, are vital to our well-being. You don't need Chinese food to survive. So there's no point of us supporting them. We don't need our nails done to survive. We don't need liquor stores and drugs and horrible food that they're selling us. So the fact that they're able to still have economic viability in our communities is insane. They aren't bringing in hospitals to our communities. They're not bringing in grocery stores to our communities. There is no advantage of black people allowing Asian businesses, Arabic, Palestinian businesses in our community. Not even bringing in businesses that are selling products and goods that we could go and resell later, that have some type of resale value. So it just is so preposterous that this is continuing to happen. And just if you thought it couldn't get any more silly, in 2020, they came out with Stop Asian Hate, to suggest that black people were committing crimes against Asians. But if we're the ones who hated them, how are they allowed to open up businesses in our communities, and yet we aren't allowed to open businesses in their communities? Black people are the ones who helped them get that crime bill passed.
only problem with ICE is that they're going after every minority group except black people. I mean, you're trying to reduce crime. You can just give them more room to breathe.
And this is exactly why black people stepped away from this fight, because at the end of the day, you can say that these are dark humor jokes all you want, but the truth is, every joke has a bit of the truth in it. And the fact that he said they're not going after black people shows us not exactly that they're not going after black people, but he wants them to harm black people. He wants them to solely focus on black people. The problem with this administration is that even though black people blatantly said that they will go after all of you guys if you guys vote for this, right? People didn't believe it because black people have been the sole target for so many years, and they were absolutely ecstatic for black people to get something negative from this administration, not realizing that their oppression is tied into ours. So the truth is that even when people don't support ICE, right, their support solely comes from their group of people being hurt, not the fact that it's hurting everybody else. They would be perfectly fine if black people were the sole targets. So many people would be perfectly fine if black Americans were the sole target of ICE assaults and violence.
It's 2 a.m. Thank you for those of you who ordered curry tonight. We've never been open late like this before, and I've been on my own fulfilling orders, and I'm really grateful for them. I'm going to keep this as short and sweet as possible. I had a discussion with my investor. Her name is Mom. And an hour ago, it was very apparent that I won't have any more money borrowing capability starting next week. I just borrowed another $4,500 to make payroll, and payroll has been sent. But if we don't somehow make at least $14,000 to $16,000 over the next 2 days,
what?
I will not have enough money to pay rent.
Are you serious?
And I will. It's not enough. I have tax payments coming up. I have to make payroll next week organically, which will be the priority. And we will not be making enough this week to pay all of our bills next week, while not being able to get additional funding to supplement the shortfall. So I think this is going to be the last weekend that we provide sushi service. I don't know what to do next week without an investor. So I'm very sorry to make this announcement.
35 square blocks destroyed. More than 1,200 black homes, businesses, schools, and churches, y'all, burned to the ground. World War I era planes dropped bombs from the sky on the Greenwood neighborhood. The official death toll was 36. But we know the estimates were around 300 black people killed, murdered. The survivors were rounded up and held in internment camps in their own city. They were issued identification cards and couldn't leave without permission from a white supervisor. Insurance companies refused every claim. They had something called a riot clause. Not a single black resident ever received financial assistance to rebuild. So when somebody gets on the internet and tells black people that our money doesn't matter, I automatically think they're a dumbass. A racist dumbass. Corporations spend billions chasing black consumers. Political campaigns spend millions trying to reach black voters. Entire industries are built around marketing to black communities. Our money matters. It mattered enough to burn a city for it in 1921. It mattered enough to redline neighborhoods for the next 50 years. It matters enough that every quarter, somebody's profit and loss statement depends on us showing up. Apparently, our money matters right up until we start talking about where we want to spend it. Then all of a sudden, it doesn't. Right? Nobody's entitled to Black customers. We spend our money where we want. That's how markets work. That's how capitalism works. That's how every other community inside this country operates. The fact that this becomes a controversy every time Black people say it out loud tells me that this was never about money. It was about leverage. And this country has been comfortable with Black spending. It's Black leverage that's always made them nervous. But if you know anything about me, you know I love a good challenge. Shop Black. Spend with your people. I'm gonna show you better than I can tell you. We gonna show you better than we can tell you. Invest in Black businesses. Build the community. Y'all, we are overdue.
So guys, welcome back. Let us know what you think about the videos we just played you, right? So there was one of the speakers, an Asian guy, who was asking exactly what needs to be done in order for all of them to walk back from the situation they are in right now, and in order to end the wrestle that is going on between the Black Americans and the Asian communities.
Right. From what I'm seeing on the internet and also from our speakers, the Asian business community is where it is because of three situations. But what I can clearly see is that the boycott to some extent has affected some Asian business owners, but not all business owners, right? Some of them are even in the verge of closing their businesses because of the boycott, while others are closing it for the mere reason that their kids no longer want to participate in their family business. Hence, they're looking for different career paths from their parents, right? So, regardless of whether the boycott worked or not, Asian businesses seem to be slowing down right now.
Let's just say in general, the Asian community is undergoing a restructuring right now. Let's remember also the reason why Asian businesses in America became a huge booming success was because of the Black American support and Black Americans coming to spend in their businesses. But you look at a situation where, because also guys, let's remember at a time when Black Americans were denied loans to start businesses, they were denied loans to set up, whatever they wanted. And at this very same time, Asian Americans were being allowed into the country, and they were being allowed
even the loans, so long as they were starting their businesses in the Black neighborhoods,
right? For as long as that was going on, I know for some Asians, they might miss that point because they feel like everything they got because of their hard work, right? But what they failed to realize is the policies that were put in place to make it easier for them, easier for them in comparison with the Black American community. Because if two people, the two of you are a minority, the Black Americans and Asians, but who between these two would walk inside a bank to get a loan, and who would come out having secured it? Those are some of the things that Asian Americans need to look at before they say they worked hard to get. Nobody's taking that fact away from you. Yes, you worked hard, your kids worked hard to in those hard and long hours in those the shops that you owned. But at the end of the day, do you not realize that for you to get that opportunity, Black Americans were denied because of systemic racism, that they've been subjugated to?
Right. And it seems like it has been a long journey since the boycott started, especially for the Asian American business owners, right? And the thing with such situation, we usually ask the communities involved, especially the Asian community, have they learned from this experience? Because when the boycott was starting, a lot of Asian Americans, I think they didn't think how serious the situation would be, and most of them thought that Black Americans would relent and finally give up on the boycott, and it wouldn't have been massive from the magnitude we saw it here in Africa, right? And since then, a few Asian Americans have woken up and have actually seen why it was important for Black Americans to pass across the message they were passing across, because it is something even they from their own communities were confessing they needed to hear it. And maybe through these drastic measures is when most of them, especially their parents, would be able to hear the plight of our Black Americans, right? And also another thing, not only did they come to the realization that the boycott was happening, but a at least most of them started opening their eyes as to how much they've taken for granted the very mere fact that they were allowed into Black American communities to start the very same businesses that Black Americans were not able to start because of lack of funding and whatnot, especially from institutions like banks, but then they got it easier compared to Black Americans. So some of them started recognizing that fact. However, there are a few here and there who still did not see the impact or did not believe the boycott would have impact, especially when you think back to whoever started this whole thing was the Asian man who was dressed like a Black American and daring Black Americans to boycott them, right? And also the woman in the Mercedes-Benz, the Asian woman who went to the internet and insulted Black Americans, describing how she was tired of the Black fatigue and the aneurysm, the N-word, the aneurysm that Black Americans were showcasing. And she also got some, fire lit under her behind.
Right, and that is just to say that the disrespect has always been there in the Asian communities. The only difference in today's society is that Black Americans can do something and choose to do something about it. Because even also, if you see from one of the clips we showed you just as an example of disrespect they have towards the Black community, is the fact that a comedian felt it right to go and make what he considers a joke about ICE not going for Black people, and they expected that if they were to start with any one of them, it would have been the Black community, right? And you could see even in his audience the way they received the joke. The Black Americans who had attended his segment were not happy about it, but he was smiling sheepishly and he continued talking about that. That
meaning those are the views he kind of held,
right?
Because most immigrants usually make the mistake of thinking Black Americans are also immigrants,
right? And because he's a comedian, he can say what he wants and hide behind
a joke.
Exactly. So I don't know, guys, let us know what you think about this episode. And I feel like at the end of the day, even if you argue that anyways their businesses were dying out because of different generations and different interests, there's still those ones that are standing, and because of that reason they've just managed to fast track the downfall of the remaining ones, because Black Americans spend a lot, and they do spend a lot of money. When you see a lot of stores that were brought into their neighborhood, is because they wanted to profit from the Black American community, So it's just to say, you need to protect the little you have, and you need to walk back some things, but that is going to be very difficult considering that you cannot control people and you cannot control how others act. So there's some bad seeds that have represented them in the wrong way, and those things can never be taken back. And so you're found in a situation where you're forced to generalize everybody.
Right. So guys, let us know what you think about this episode down on the comment section, and also consider subscribing if you're new to our channel, and we'll see you on our next episode.